Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sharded, a casual Argent Saga podcast. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathaniel.
And I'm Mike, and today we're going to talk about splashing strategy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 5. So in our last episode, we actually talked about the colors that we were all attracted to and why we went there. And we talked a bit about what we thought the best color was and also the best color for splashing. So I actually wanted to ask these guys about splashing strategy. And what I mean by that is, basically, let me lay a scenario out for you, right? We know that you're going to be splashing primarily to bring up your deficiencies for whatever your primary element is missing, right? So in the case of green, for example, I'm bringing spells that can basically kill stuff because green doesn't have a ton of that, right? So is that really the primary method of it? Or do you allocate, let's say, because right now, we get 8, right? Now that could potentially change in the future with different spirits. Do you allocate 6 to like cheap stuff? Or do you really go for like the big side, trying to bring in like the big champions of the? And I'm sorry, champions is the wrong term in this game, right? But the big
boss monsters,
right?
Right, yeah.
So are you bringing in the big guys, or are you going for the piddly stuff? So what do you think, Nathaniel?
I think specifically with the instance where I'm light and I'm planning on splashing water, I'm thinking it's more to bring in spells and focus more on some of that responsive and interactive element rather than the units that I'm putting forward.
Sure.
Because I think light is pretty strong with units and gear, but minus a couple of specific things that we talked about last episode, it's kind of lacking in the spells of the responsive kind of.
Yeah, the instance, some of the instances, other than just being attacked and sitting back in like a astonishing strength.
But let me flip you on that then. So let's say in the scenario where you're playing blue and splashing white.
Which is, I've thought about
Are you then using white to bring your units?
I think so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think if you're splashing light, you're bringing units and gear. Because there's some real good...
Are you bringing gear, though? Like,
there's some pretty good gear.
Yeah. Gear doesn't have to be attached to a light unit.
No, but the problem is with only 8 cards, because light is also the only people that I know of that can bring gear back. So if you're using gear, are you going to have enough space to bring said gear back?
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Just by the way, there is a light spirit that is a probo that we will have access to pretty soon. That is Buckeye.
He's 10, right?
He is an affinity of 10. Wow. So interesting thing about affinity, just in case if those of you who are new maybe, the affinity score is 0 cards of that color or the affinity score. There's no in between. So with Buckeye, if you were to play him, you have to find 10 light cards. I'm not sure I could, but it does. Easily. It does kind of change your deck building, especially if you're trying to stay at 40 cards. Like where you have to bring 10 of one element, and it really takes apart part of your strategy with the other color, with the primary color.
And thank you. So Mike, that actually came up yesterday. Mike texted me that because he was watching the deck building video that I'd put up, and I was debating maybe not going full 8. And he texted me, he was like, "Hey, bro, you're an idiot. Like, you have to go 8." He didn't say idiot. He said other things.
Yeah.
No, he did. Anyway, so yeah, that's an interesting thing for bringing that. So as far as cost goes, are you looking at piddly cost, Mike, or are we looking at
I'm looking into overall. I'm really right now in my deck building with this game. I'm really paying attention to my cost curve, my shard light curve. So whatever I bring in, I really want it to fit into my shard light curve, and mine is mostly lots of 2s. I mean 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. And then down, from there. That's like, so whatever I splash in has got to fit in that.
Okay, so you're just looking at overall curve
I don't even
content.
In fact, if I was going to splash a color into my deck, and I would only, even if a card was really good, if it did not fit into my mana curve, or my shard light curve, I would have to either remove something for it, or I would not use it at all. I would take that into my account.
That's kind of how I think about. I mean, not as detailed with the curve, but when I'm thinking about what I'm taking out and what I'm replacing it with, I'm definitely thinking about cost.
So are you swapping 1-to-1? Like you say, all right, I want to add this 3 cost light card. I'm going to drop a 3 or 3-cost blue card and a draw 3-cost white.
A 3 or higher cost.
Or higher. Yeah. Okay.
So, something else I want to mention when we're talking about splashing, because I've been focusing on mono, right? And the way I have been kind of addressing some of my inequities in my color, my element, is there's a whole suit of Argent cards that are the gray neutral cards. And those are really strong. Like there's a lot of strong. Like if your color doesn't have enough guardians, guess what? Argent egg, right? If you don't have a finisher,
Argent egg is so good.
Yeah, if you don't have a finisher, guess what? Twilight Knight. If you don't have enough tricks and you can...
Isn't everybody going to play Twilight Knight?
If I had one, I would be playing it, yes. But there's so many different tricks.
Get one. Like, come on.
You mentioned when we were talking about the gear, how sometimes you feel like you'll play a big guy, put 2 gear on him, and someone will bounce him.
Yep.
Right? There's a perfectly good gray card that states when you play her, she's like the robot experiment, that the characters adjacent to her are not, they can't be targeted by spells or abilities. And that can really help. So I feel like splashing is cool. Yeah. And I think the reason I bring this up is I am going to splash in order to further my deck's game plan rather than trying to address my inequities, because I feel like with the Argent cards, the gray cards, I can address that with those.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I do know that the other reason I wanted to splash light is because I'm in love with Yuki. Like, I want my Yuki
we wanted some Yukis.
So bad.
Right, yeah. We will have Yukis.
She's a good 3-drop. Now, it is interesting to note, though, that Liam can only 1-up into an air unit. So you can't 1-up into light units. So, that affects that. That affects that particular case. But you can sack a non-light to play a light.
Okay.
All right, sorry. Sack a non-air to play an air.
Okay.
Right, so you can even sack an Argent Egg if you want, right?
Yeah, Argent Egg's so good. Have we mentioned Argent Egg's really good?
Yeah, Argent Egg really good.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough. So, I mean, you guys kind of both have. I mean, it's still supplemental strategy, but you're using it to further your game plan. You're using it to cover your butt.
And take that with a grain of salt, because
offensive versus defensive.
We suck.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, we're coming at this early on, but this is some of our thought process for why we're starting to learn. And we just I got into deck building less than 7 days ago. Like, I didn't have a constructed deck a week ago. Well, I guess 8 days ago I didn't have one. And then, so this is all new, but this is little things that if you're new as well, maybe you can take that with you, take that when it help you along better than we had to struggle with.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, fair.
So have you talked about your strategy for splashing? Like, what do you think?
Well, I'm playing Sola just because I like her ability. But I'm playing Holy Slash, and which is a 2-drop, and I'm playing Astonishing Betrayal, which is a 1-drop.
Right.
And then I use the other 2 slots for big guys, actually. So I kind of split.
Right.
I think I'm in a unique position because Air has a bunch of big units, so I'm trying to kind of fill the lower end of the curve.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually originally try the gear thing that gave Guardian, because
that's a good
Guardian's good.
Right.
But it just didn't work. So actually now I'm actually playing the Corum Squire, right? Yep. Is that the guy? He's a 1-drop. 1,000.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing the one with Guardian. Yes, yeah, sorry. He's a 2-drop with 1,000 with Guardian.
Is it the one that has like the light shield, like the Wakandan looking shield thing?
Yeah. Okay. That's the guy I'm playing now. Just 2 of them, just to help on the Guardian on the lower curve, because I don't really get my Guardian units out until I start getting in like a 4 range. Wow. And all of a sudden I can lose like 3 towers.
But your Guardians are huge in green,
yeah, no,
right?
they're big and they're killers, right? But if you're 3 towers down and like if you lose your air tower early and you bounce 2 500s, that really stinks. Right?
Absolutely.
It's interesting that we've kind of talked about this game, but one of our favorite things is the tower mechanic. And the tower mechanic naturally keeps your opponent from going hog wild on you, right? Because if they run into the wrong tower early, it can shock their board state. I feel like it's equally hard in this game to make a comeback because of the same reason. Like, I have a hard time, like, I can't put together just a big play and drop 3 towers unless I get extremely lucky with which ones I hit at the time, right?
That's an interesting statement, because I think you're right.
Yeah.
But we always, like, when I'm explaining the game to new people, we kind of say, well, the towers are a balancing mechanic. But if it's a balancing mechanic, shouldn't that allow you to catch up? But
one tower down is a balancing mechanic. 2 towers down, balancing mechanic. If you get down 3 towers, I think you're done. right? Unless unless your opponent really gets unlucky or there's issues with it. I just think that's the nature of the game. Or if you hit the towers in the correct order, I think you can make a really easy comeback. Cole, we've talked about Cole before. Cole playing his black deck has a 500, a 1-drop 500 unit.
It's the Pewter Gargoyles, the one you're talking about, right?
And I mean, it's got a really cool ability, but when he plays that, I don't get fearful of dropping towers, but what I really hate is that he just hits my towers and figures out which ones are which. And that's a real problem because all of a sudden that backup, that mechanic that allows me to get lucky and make a comeback is completely eviscerated because he just goes, okay, I don't care about the cards in my hand. Dark, right? Boom.
Yeah, and so this is it's been known as scouting, right? Scouting the towers, right? Yeah.
Face checking. Netrunner, sorry.
Fair enough.
Right.
We all have a history. Some of it sad.
Right.
So, okay, I mean, that's fair. So that was just what came up last time in the last episode, and I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on it. So,
I actually haven't done a lot of it. I would say the color I'm looking most forward to splashing is probably blue. I just love some of the blue spells, especially the ones that either wipe the board or exhaust all of your opponent's characters. Yeah. Tidal Rush is a really good 1-drop blue spell.
Do you splash the Juggernaut?
The Akuma Juggernaut for 5-drop Guardian, like disgusting. And I think he has a Arrive ability. Like, or just,
I'll put him up, but he's pretty good.
I mean, again, if that furthers what I'm doing, dropping a guy with Guardian who can attack is just as good at finishing a game as someone without Guardian. Yeah. So I think a guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could see splashing too because I think most of your trick spells you want 3 of, right? Yeah. All right, I guess if they're low cost trick spells.
And a lot of the blue spells get better as the game goes on, and they have an additional where if you Shard Drain, they get better. So at the end of the game, your 1-drop is really good because you can 1-drop Shard Drain and it does like 2 things. Yeah.
So that's what I could see in that case using 6, and I guess that's kind of my strategy, right? Is I use 6 for like the piddly cover your butt spells,
and then something nasty,
and then some big stuff.
Yeah,
right?
that maybe your opponent doesn't realize is about to happen.
If I had him, I'd play the White Knight that has like the head right when he comes in. If there's only 2 towers remaining, he becomes.
Is that the Argent? Is that the Argent one?
It's the Argent.
Oh my gosh! Did you get one of those?
I don't think so. No.
Somebody send this man one of those.
Yeah, he's really good.
That guy's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's really good. He's in the right situation. I think he's better than Twilight Knight. But anyway, all right. So what do we got coming up this week? So the Gongai Open Play. Yes. I talked to them. They've moved it till 5 p.m. Or moved it forward to 5 p.m. The reason for that is our Destiny tournaments are really getting done about 4:45ish.
Right. Perfect.
And then a lot of the people want to roll in.
Yeah. They don't want to sit around for an hour?
Well, what happened last week when it was at 6 o'clock is we sat around and we played, and then by the time it was 6 o'clock, we're like, I kind of want to go home, right? So we figured by moving it towards 5, maybe we could get some people rolling in, pick up some other people.
I'm hoping this will be my first week of actual, making that, which is cool. I know we don't have any, we're not playing any sort of formalized tournament yet, which I'm glad for.
They're getting the kits though.
Yeah, I want everyone to just get a lot of casual games. What I don't want is someone to come in here, buy a starter in a box, get it together, and then just get curb stomped by someone who's who net decked the hotness from Gen Con and just smash your face. I hope we don't get to that. I'm sure we will. We'll attract a new person who is like, oh, look what I got. So
it's just the way it is.
Right.
That's okay. Come one, come all.
Yeah, and then we'll probably play again Monday, like we have been doing. So I probably played 10 games this week, which is
that's good.
Just as many games as Destiny as I played.
That's good. Have you tried playing on TTS? I'm curious.
I have not, only because my rig struggles a little bit with TTS. Is a memory hog of that's why a lot of people prefer untap.io because it's so light memory wise. Mm-hmm. But I would like to. The guys from Jackalman do it. They put together the mod for it,
and they do those guys. Go check them out. They're amazing at what they do, which is make TTS stuff.
Yeah,
it's real good. They are your TTS content.
And just a little side note, I talked to the guys at Jackalman, and they said that our ARG gave them permission to to use, like actually.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't feel free to use the into the game.
It helps grow the game.
Yeah, which is different than another game that we play, where it's like cease and desist, you lawbreakers.
Well, there's a difference between no, that's not fair. They haven't shut TTS down. They've just shut events down on TTS.
I feel like there's always this specter, though, of that TTS could get.
Yeah, but I mean, ARG is probably the same because ARG is like brick and mortar. We support brick and mortar. We support brick and mortar, right? So if all of a sudden like online tournaments start happening, that may be a different story.
True.
So
Correct. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, check it out. Give the Jacqueline guys a look. They're doing. I mean, the advantage they have over us in the IRL is when you're playing on a computer and recording it, you can kick out videos like it's your job, right?
Yeah.
So they produce videos, they can hook you up there. But we've got IRL in real life videos coming, so check those out. And if nothing else, go Commando.
Go Commando.
Go Commando.